Ladies and gentlemen, today we are live and we are debuting the season update for NASCAR 21 Ignition, and today it is NASCAR 22 season and series premiere. Of course, we've only got the Cup Series to work with here, so not going to be a super long playthrough necessarily, but we will have some racing for you. We plan on doing 2 seasons. This first season is going to be the actual 2022 NASCAR schedule. Obviously, we'll have the playoffs and all that. Stage racing will be on, and then we'll do something a little different on a custom schedule side of thing for season number 2. So if you're wondering, and maybe new to the channel watching this, whether it's right now or down the line, exactly how am I going to do the points when there's no specific point system for this, just like we did with NASCAR 21 Ignition to have our own season mode there. Just basically did race now races and calculated the points myself. I'll have the points at the top of the screen. Obviously, we haven't raced the first race yet, so there's no points to go off of. You won't see that in this race, but you will see that in the races to come following this one. So hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, and most importantly, place your votes in the chat. Not in the chat, but there's actually a voting poll in the chat right now for this live stream that you can place your vote for who you want me to drive as in this season. We had various polls over the last 48 hours, and we are now down to the final 2. It is between Kevin Harvick and Alex Bowman for the final vote. Now, I was constantly refreshing today's semifinal polls, and it was very, very close. 68 votes in the one poll between Corey LaJoie, Ross Chastain, and Alex Bowman. And Alex Bowman won the voting poll at 37%. It was actually I think it was 36% last time I looked at 67 votes. One more vote came in towards Bowman. That kind of boosted his score a little bit. But he was only 1% ahead of Corey LaJoie. And then Chastain only 8 behind that. So it was a very close poll there. Kevin Harvick pretty much easily beat out Kyle Busch, Todd Gilliland, Brad Keselowski. Harvick had 49% of votes, 87 votes in that poll. 30% went to Kyle Busch, 7% for Todd Gilliland, 14% for Brad Keselowski. So I will close those in the community tab because the last poll is in the chat right now, as I also prefaced in the community tab leading up to tonight's stream. So thanks for everybody tuning in. We've got almost 20 people watching. This could be my first look at what this game is going to race like. I personally, what I'm expecting is the handling and the physics side of things to be exactly the same as the Gen 6 car. Now, I have been told that that may be different, but in my head, though, I feel like that is what I'm kind of looking at. I won't be using stability help for any of the bigger racetracks, just like I would have on the other side of things. Short tracks, I'll probably use a little bit of stability help, depending on, obviously what we have with this game. If it's just like NASCAR 21 Ignition, I will use stability on the short tracks because we're never going to be able to make it to the end of a race if that is the case. So we are looking to obviously try to get to the end as many races as possible. Obviously, if I make my own mistake, you guys know it's not easy for myself to finish all these races, especially in the Cup Series. I mean, I probably will have a couple DNFs throughout the course of the season, but we'll see if we can fight ourselves out of it, and maybe we get off to a strong start here, and hopefully we have a good race today because this is the Daytona 500. Thanks for everybody in the chat tuning in, by the way. We've had a lot of you guys in the chat. No Torres, Jets Gang 2.0, Mark DeMars, Alex Bowman Fax, Hitstick Gamer, CJ4, Juanita Luna, Asaya Z, Billy Kramer, Billy Carjoy, Joshua Rumsey, and others. Welcome into the stream today. You guys are not wanting to miss it. Glad you guys are tuning in early to cast your votes. Only 9 likes, so over 20 people watching. Be sure to hit that like button. And at 6:05, I'll give you guys, I'll actually set a timer. Well, my phone's dead. That's not going to work. I'll set a timer on my laptop for 60 seconds real quick, and that'll be the last 60 seconds to place your vote. Alright, so 1 minute on the clock right now. 1 minute is on the clock. You have 55 seconds to place your vote in the chat. What airport will I use? Going to Phoenix. I mean, I'm flying out of Detroit. Looking for direct flight. I haven't booked my tickets yet, so I don't know exactly how many airports are even in Phoenix, to be completely honest. I feel like there might be 2. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure yet, though. I don't know if I'm the only one going, so that's why I haven't booked the plane ticket yet. Got 54% to 46% as of right now, and we still have 15 seconds, guys. 15 seconds to cast the vote. We've got over 30 votes already, and the stream's been on for about 5 minutes, so greatly appreciate you guys casting your votes in early here. 52. It might be close here. 3, 2, 1. Timer at 0. I didn't mean to start it back over again. Timer is at 0. Kevin Harvick has won the votes, 55% to 45%. So we will be racing 54 right before I ended it. But still, 54% to 46%. And it'll be Kevin Harvick is who we will be racing as. Kind of coincidental that the two drivers that are in the biggest storylines in NASCAR over the last couple weeks, well, really over the last couple hours, if you think about it. Kevin Harvick's massive point penalty, he's in the news, and Alex Bowman out with a concussion, he's in the news. And I noticed the semifinals, we had Kyle Busch. He's been in the news a lot lately, too. Trying to think who else was in there. Ross Chastain, he's kind of been in and out of the news. It seems like all the relevant drivers, storyline based, whether it's on the track or off the track, storyline based, those are the drivers that made it into the semifinals. So it's kind of coincidental, and especially kind of coincidental when you look at the fact that the two drivers we had tonight are literally in the biggest headlines over the last since pretty much Talladega. So yeah, we'll be racing as Kevin Harvick. One thing I was looking at the paint schemes for every driver in this game. Kevin Harvick's the only one with 3. Everybody else has 2 or 1. So at least we'll have more paint schemes to race with. I'm not sure how many more DLCs we're going to get. I would have to imagine we'll have more paint schemes over the course of the winter time. We'll start off with the Mobile 1 paint scheme. I really like this. Something about a white car with, even if there's not a lot on it, I do like it. The Mobile 1 paint schemes have always been pretty good, though, for the most part. Whether it's been on his car, Tony Stewart's, Clint Boyer's when he was still racing too. I actually have a Tony Stewart diecast, Mobile 1 diecast, so I do like the Mobile 1 schemes. They usually do pretty good. Even Sam Hornish Jr.'s scheme way back in the late 2000s, that was a nice looking 77 car also. But yeah, we'll be racing as Kevin Harvick. He's got 2 wins this year. He's eliminated round of 16. Let's try to rewrite history. We'll see if we can get Kevin Harvick his second career NASCAR Cup Series championship this season. Trader's Rail Fanning, thanks for tuning in also. So Kevin Harvick has won the voting poll. New Atlanta's fun, I'll say that. Alright, well, sounds good. That'll be our 5th race of the season, so you won't have to wait too long into the year for that happening. Wreck Logano in practice, please. Better than the last one, I hope so. It's the same game, that's what scares me personally. Thanks for tuning in also, Ethan. Logano wins championship and Jets win a Super Bowl. That's a lot you're asking for there. Logano winning a championship, though, that could happen. You never know this year. I think he's definitely championship 4 bound.
I'm Alex Hayden. This is the Daytona International
they got different
Speedway,
music.
And we're here for Daytona 500 practice.
At least they
It's been
redid
months
like
since we've
this.
seen
They
cars
thought
on the
this through.
track,
I was wondering if
and
this was going to be
the
copy and
team's
paste from the first
opportunity
season.
to see how their hard work over the winter break will pay off. Expect to see some drafting runs
The
amongst
drum line's
teammates and a
kind
few
of the
mock
same, but
qualifying
the
runs in today's session.
not the instrumental, but the sound effect music in the background. The production
Cars are being
the quality
prepped.
and the production
drivers
went down,
debriefing
but you
with
could hear
their
the
crew
drums a
chiefs,
little
and soon
louder.
we'll
It's
get the cars on the
only
track.
difference there.
Keep an eye on the manufacturer alliances and how well they
Gonna have
work
great
together
time at
in
Auto
this
Club.
practice.
That will be tomorrow night.
Draft practice will be key.
We will
for
be
a
doing
lot of
NASCAR
these teams
22
to
the
see
rest
if
of the
their handling
week,
in the pack
leading up
is
to
where
the
they
live
want it,
commentary
as
of
it
the
can
Roval
make
on
or break
Sunday.
the opportunity to
See,
win the
Grid
race
3,
on
thanks for
Sunday.
tuning in. Warning at Daytona, they brake check the first turn. On the start, I'm going to have to practice before I get into the race just to see how this game feels. I don't always practice, but we need to make sure everything is in tune here before I let loose. The in-car definitely looks a lot different. I noticed how the dash looks like further. It almost looks like it's on top of the dash, if that makes any sense. The dash is on top of the dash. Steering wheel set. Oh, they're starting us on the backstretch. That's different. I forgot this is 5 gears, too. That's something I gotta get used to. What camera angles we have? That's downshift. How do I switch camera angles? R1? Yeah, there it is. One of the far chase cam. It sounds different. So the in-car still sounds like a miter saw going off. That hasn't changed. We have pretty much the same camera angles. We'll alternate throughout the course of the race as usual.
Clear all around.
It's almost wanting to veer to the right. I don't have any stability help on. Apron gets a little loose. Don't want to hit that. Alright. Just testing some stuff out. But, the car feels like it wants to pull to the right. In NASCAR 21 Ignition, it wanted to pull to the left, but now it's pulling to the right. Which I'm actually okay with that, because that's going to kind of add stability to the race car even without any stability on. I don't know if it's going to be like that every race, but at least at Daytona it will be. Champion difficulty also. Right.
One left.
I'm not sure how the bump draft is going to work. I'm kind of scared to try it even in practice.
Stay right.
The bump drafting did not work in NASCAR 21 Ignition. You bump a car, you lose it, essentially. We just blew around Austin Dillon on the outside. Champion difficulty is too easy. I'm going to have to go to extreme. It pulls way too much to the right. It's pulling exactly to the left, like it did, or exactly to the right as it did the left on NASCAR 21 Ignition. Only this time it's going towards the wall, which could be a little scarier maybe than it pulling to the left. Why does it have to pull one way or the other? That's what I don't understand. Why can't it just like act straight like any other NASCAR game? I have a little bit of a gripe on that. Also, what's the rear view mirror? Is there a rear view mirror? You guys will have to let me know. I see the fuel indicator on the bottom right. That's nice. Tires are there too. Green. It looks like it's a color code, kind of similar to the EA games. That's nice. It's always there too. Plus an R3. Okay. I didn't realize R3 is a look back cam too. No mirror. I'm having a hard time keeping it off the wall on the straightaways. Like I said, this thing pulls to the right. That's going to be challenging when there's a car on the outside. I'm not really pulling away too much from Austin Dillon. It seems like I'm pretty even on speed with him. I think he was still trying to get up to speed after leaving the pits. I do like when you hit the apron that it does that. It's not like NASCAR 06 where it spins you out automatically. There's a little bit of forgiveness there, but it does snap loose. And obviously it scrubbed a lot of speed out because I didn't lift through that transition, and Dillon's closing in on me now. I really hope the bump draft works, so. Man, that sucks you down. Alright, well, we're going to go for our first little slide here. I'm going to have to catch this. Alright, well, I caught it. Come into the pits. I'm going to try to cycle back out again. You have to slow up that much, I guess. Alright, so setup-wise, I'd imagine there's probably no custom setups again. There isn't. That's stable. I wonder if I go a little bit on the loose side, if that will maybe free it up just enough, so it's not pulling all the way to the right.
Here we go. Just like any other. Let's see how those tires last.
I do have manual gear in, yes. Interesting every day. Thanks for tuning in. I do not iRace now. I don't have the anything for that. Bump drafting works. I'm gonna have to try that before I get into the race. It kind of starts me on the back straightaway. Fortunately, there's nobody around me. Try to pick some cars up in the draft if at all possible. I'll run 4 more laps and then I'll get into qualifying and then we'll start the race tonight. Of course, what you guys came in for. Just trying to get a feel of things here first. I wonder how accurate the speeds are too. I remember watching qualify for the Daytona 500 when I was on the way down to Daytona. On Wednesday night, I remember watching it. And I do remember the speeds, single car being right around here in the low 180s. So that seems about right. Car's still pulling to the right, but it's not as bad. Because that also means if I clip the apron, I'm probably going to be more susceptible to losing control. I gotta make sure not to just snap it in the corners either. I probably got to be a lot easier on the analog stick than what I was. I have the temperature set for 75 degrees in clear skies also for the climate. Closing in on a couple cars up here. That was one thing in NASCAR 21 Ignition. The super speedway racing got pretty spread apart. And I wonder if it's going to do that when we get into the race. We'll just have to wait and see on that. Obviously, in practice, they're going to be spread apart because they're not all going to the track at the same time. I'm going to get up to these guys. I'm going to try to bump draft them. Got Ross Chastain and a Rick Ware car of some sort. I noticed there's like 3 drivers for the 15 and the 16 on this game, and it's weird too that Noah Gragson drives the 62 and potentially the 16 car in this game. I don't think I've ever seen that in a NASCAR game where a driver's in 2 cars.
Clear.
It'd be hilarious if he's out on the track at the same time for live commentary calls. Right, so I don't know that I want to push in the middle of the corner. I'm a little scared too. I have to hop back in the draft. I lift it when I push him. I'm so used to NASCAR 21 Ignition where I have to like let off as soon as I hit them because I feel like my car's going to lose control. I don't know that I felt it there. I'm going to try to hit him a little bit harder, see what happens. Okay, so you can't push in the corners. I figured I'd try. There is a process to it. You can't just go up there and slam him. He held on to it though. I feel like in NASCAR 21 Ignition, they get that loose, they wipe out. They have no chance of saving it. It doesn't matter whether it was high downforce, low downforce. They get that loose, they don't save it usually. They did save it, and he kind of drove away from me because I got a bit sideways too. Apron really sucks you in there. You get close to it, it really pulls you down the track. Wade Zielinski, thanks for tuning in. I don't like the sound of the car, though. Oh, we gotta check up. Yeah, so random pitting is still a thing. We're gonna have to be careful when we get close to pit stops. Not to run over each other. That about happened there. But I will say there is more stability. I don't have stability on. But in NASCAR 21 Ignition before the season update, if that happened, I would have spun out. And I would have turned the car in front of me. So there is more stability here, which I do like. This game needed that. It wasn't one of the like biggest key components I had a gripe with, but that is nice. So far, just running kind of in practice mode, at least by myself, I kind of like it, I'm not going to lie. The big issue when we get into the race is there's still going to be scoring problems if we see any cautions and during the stage breaks. Because during the stage breaks, that was a thing too. Will the cars pit during the stage breaks? That's another thing. Cars didn't always pit during the stage breaks, and that kind of threw strategy off in the full races even. Fuel window's pretty straightforward at Daytona. Taking 2-tire stops with having telemetry could actually be a strategy, especially being a super speedway race today. So I think we'll see some pit strategy one way or another in today's race. I think we're going to have more fun with this than what we had with NASCAR 21 Ignition. We might still have races where we have those same NASCAR 21 Ignition blunders, but I don't think it's going to be the majority of the season like it was. And that last season we did on NASCAR 21 Ignition, I mean, we probably had like maybe 4 or 5 good races, and the rest were just absolute garbage. So, hopefully, we get more good racing here. We're going to hop into qualifying next. And we'll see where I timed in for practice. I didn't have a lot of drafting to work with there. 25th in practice. Kind right in the middle. Chastain and Smithley were the 2 cars ahead of me, and I was faster than them. Joey Logano, top of the charts in practice with a 47.280. Michael McDowell second, Byron third. Daniel Suarez fourth. Chase Elliott rounded out the top 5. Mark Truex Jr. in 6th. Ty Dillon 7th. Kyle Larson in 8th. Harrison Burton 9th. Greg Biffle rounding out the top 10. How about the Biff making a return to it? Never would I ever have imagined seeing Greg Biffle in another NASCAR game again. And here he is. NASCAR 22 season update. During cautions, the car still uses up a lot of fuel.
We're here for Daytona 500 qualifying day. I'm Alex Hayden of MRN, here to bring you all the action. Mock runs were made in practice, but today is the day to see who has the speed, the handling, but most importantly, the steadiness.
Okay, so now it's back to the same music. The practice music was different. This is the same music as NASCAR 21 edition. It's like it just throws me back in that game again.
The grid, and the drivers are ready to go. This is the first real indication of who's brought the fastest race car.
The gloves are off on the drivers.
Season. Who will be
I remember the drivers are always wearing the gloves all the time. Blaney's gloves are off. His hands look ginormous though, but
let's get the engines fired.
The gloves are off.
Session started.
Guess you have to have big hands to grip onto the steering wheel when you're going as fast as you are in a stock car.
2 good ones here. Give it all you got.
You know what they say about big hands? Big gloves. We got the gloves on now. We're in the car. We're ready to go. Oh, jeez. I was expecting me to get thrown out into the track. Okay, so you actually do your startup lap. That's nice. I was just hammering it in neutral. I was thinking it was going to send me off on the track like it did in practice. Like it did in NASCAR 21 Ignition. I wasn't prepared for that. I have to remember there's 5 gears to shift, and when I get to 4th, don't just stay on the throttle. Alright, so that's nice. We get to get up to speed lap. We didn't have that in NASCAR 21 Ignition side of things. You're in 4th gear for a while before you have to shift. It's going to be interesting to shift on short tracks when we get there. I don't know. It's going to be challenging, let me tell you. It's going to add a whole other layer to the road courses, too. It's going to be interesting how all that's going to work. No shifting today, though. Obviously, outside of restarts. So, I can't remember if it's 1 or 2 laps. Got a little glitchiness off turn 4. I don't like that. Lost some pixels there, but we got him back in the trioval. I did not like the way the game was freezing up. That's the last thing we need is a game crashing left and right. 2 laps on the super speedways to try to set the quick time for the Daytona 500. I wish the qualifying was at night like it actually is in real life. That's the least of my worries with this game. Qualifying's usually at night for the Daytona 500. At least the last couple years. Not worried about gluing the car to the bottom on this first lap. Lap 2, gonna have to stay hooked to that double yellow line. Hope it saved my setup from practice. Not sure if it did or not. It almost doesn't feel like it. Could just be me though. First lap is a 49.387, so looking to pick up on lap 2. I don't think that's gonna be anywhere close to the pole time. Just got to look out for the Hendrick Chevys in Daytona 500 qualifying as well. The speed maybe scrubbed off, looking at that double yellow line. Not going to be as aggressively that low in the middle of the corner in the race. All in the hopes of hopefully not wrecking. Driving us Kevin Harvick. You guys voted for me to race as Harvick for the last 48 hours in the chat tonight, and obviously in the community tab. And recent races, and we'll see where Kevin Harvick will qualify for the 2022 Daytona 500 as he works his way off turn 4. Much better second lap than first lap. Not great in turns 1 and 2. 3 and 4 wasn't too bad. Going to go down to the apron in the tri-oval, and we will see. Okay, top of the charts. I don't like that it was by 0.3 of a second. That kind of scares me, I'm not going to lie. Might have to move it to extreme difficulty. Extreme was too hard on the... I'm actually, I don't want this to be too easy. Yeah, that'd be cool if there was a qualification tracker. Like in the, later years in the EA games. I'm kind of half tempted to run a qualifying trial because I made a mistake and I still was 0.3 of a second ahead. We might have to bump the difficulty up to expert. I'm gonna do that. Daytona at night is gorgeous. They are slower at Daytona. It's gonna be easy to win though. Yeah, I don't want it that easy though. I want a little bit of
I'm Alex Hayden, welcoming you to the Daytona 500.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Great American race. 40 of the world's best stock car drivers.
I have to skip that. I'll go back to it. I'm gonna set the difficulty to expert. I'm gonna set the difficulty to expert and requalify. 0.3 of a second difference is at Daytona. I mean, there's some tracks I can maybe get away with it and understand that I'm that fast, but that's a little absurd. Alright, we're on the hardest difficulty now, which is where I want to be. So that's okay. I'm alright with that. Watch me be like 40th now. See, that was the problem with NASCAR 21 Ignition. Not gonna have practice on here. But that was the problem with the 2021 season part of NASCAR 21 Ignition. Was that if you went down to champion difficulty, it was too easy. But if you went to expert, it was way too hard. So we had to run expert on some tracks and champion on some tracks that were, you know, too hard on expert, where we were just gonna run like 30th the whole race on speed. In a Hendrick car or a Gibbs car, whatever we were racing as, Penske. We're always in good equipment. We're in good equipment for this season too. Kimmy Kerr, thanks for tuning in. Top 3 driver finish for this weekend.
Qualifying day. I'm Alex
Hayden of MRN. Haven't really looked at anything stat-wise. I'm basing it off of how the road courses have gone this year.
Today is the day to see who has the speed, the
I will
handling,
say,
but most importantly, the steadiness of the
say
wheel to
just
put together a
Chase
perfect
Elliott,
lap at over 180
Tyler
miles
Reddick,
per
Christopher
hour.
Bell, no particular order, but those are probably the 3 I'm looking at.
The crews have pushed the cars out
Maybe
to
the
the
favorites
grid,
to win.
and the drivers are ready to go. This
As
is
of
the
right
first
now, I
real
haven't
indication of who's
looked
brought
at
the
any
fastest
statistics
race
for this
car
weekend,
for the
and
most
obviously we haven't seen
prestigious
the
race
unload
of the
speed. That
season.
could change
Who
through
will be
practice
your
and
Daytona
qualifying,
500
too.
pole sitter? Will it be another
I'm trying to
Chevy
skip
front
this,
row
and it's not letting me
lockout?
skip
A
it.
rookie pole sitter.
It's concerning.
Let's get the engines fired and session started.
It let me skip it for the race, but it wasn't letting me skip it for qualifying. I only wanted to skip it because we already heard it. Alright, we'll try this again.
Here we go. Qualifying.
This is a good restart. I didn't want to get into the race and have to restart it. That's the last thing I want to do. I hate doing that. I fight through it most of the time. Okay, so it does throw you on the track for qualifying. That's nice. I like the dual exhaust though, coming out of the back of the car when I was accelerating. We've got the next gen features. Manual shifting is on. So again, racing as Kevin Harvick because you guys fans wanted me to. Gives me more incentive to get more I'm going to say this right now. Kevin Harvick, from the time he came into NASCAR to now, I think undeniably has had the best variation of paint schemes in NASCAR history. I'm dropping the mic, but he has year in, year out the best paint schemes. And it's not even just the primary scheme. Like his secondary schemes are really good too. I don't like how my car got super loose when it got glitchy like that. I really hope that doesn't happen in the race. That was the warm-up lap though. 2 laps to set the quick time. Guess if I was going to get any speed scrub off, it's going to be the warm-up lap. It's going to hurt the front straightaway speed though on this first actual lap, but there'll be one more lap after this for Harvick. I have to be prepared on the opening lap of the race. It might do that too. Where's Ricky Pivi? I don't know. Not on that list. You get into racing very shortly. I feel like Dale Jr. had a lot of great paint schemes collectively too, but I'd probably throw Kevin Harvick in there at number 1. I mean, even his Budweiser schemes are really good. The all black and the 29. I've already made more mistakes qualifying this time around than what I did the first time. This is unfortunate. At least we'll get a better idea of exactly where Harvick is going to qualify. I don't think it's going to be as good lap time wise. My first lap was quicker than the first lap on the last one, but lap 2 isn't going to be much quicker than lap 1 this time around now. A little bit better in 3 and 4 again. And into the tri-oval. Oh, that got him loose. First again. It was a little closer, but I also made more mistakes. I'm glad I switched it to expert, because it is a little bit closer. But Kevin Harvick still on the pole for the Daytona 500. Outside of the front row is going to be Kyle Larson, the defending champion and pole sitter in real life in the 2022 Daytona 500, will be starting second. And Bowman, who actually qualified in second, is going to end up in third for today's qualifying. Inside of row 2, Eric Almirola. Outside row 2, one-time Daytona winner in the Cup Series who won the July race back in 2014. William Byron, Chase Elliott in row number 3. Duo of Hendrick Chevys in that third row. Byron, a one-time Daytona winner as well, won the summer race in 2020. Elliott looking for his first win at Daytona, but he has a couple at Talladega now in real life, one at the new Atlanta Superspeedway as well. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. will line up in row number 4. See the debut of Chastain in the one car for Trackhouse Racing on the season playthrough. Daniel Suarez, his teammate, inside of row 5 with Denny Hamlin on the outside. Superspeedway ace and 3-time Daytona 500 winner. Hamlin will be going for his 4th tonight. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in also. Byron getting his 25-point penalty dismissed is messed up. The whole penalty got deducted?
I'm Alex Hayden, welcoming you to the Daytona 500, the great American race. 40 of the world's best stock car drivers are ready to tame this 2.5-mile super speedway. Today is about avoiding the big one and giving yourself a chance at the end. Drivers know what's at stake. A virtual playoff lock and a chance to engrave their name on the Harley J. Earl Trophy.
Is there a reason I should be stuck on the screen? Have we had our first glitch already? Oh, there we go. That was a little delayed. I was scared for a second. Oh my gosh. Why does he look more bold than what he should?
This is what teams and drivers have been prepping for the entire off-season. Let's head down trackside to fire the engines.
Why did Chase Briscoe look like Curious George a couple seconds ago? They did Chase Briscoe wrong in this game. He's got a receding hairline, but it's not that bad. His hair's not flat like that either. Like, it literally looked like Curious George. Alright, setup-wise, still on loose. That's good. It did save the setup. Into the race we go. 200 laps, 500 miles. Stages are on for the entire season. And we are going to kick off the next-gen season in NASCAR video gaming. 65 laps in this opening stage as they will be headed for the green flag. And we are underway in the Daytona 500 on NASCAR 22. Boy, I didn't like that side contact there off the start. Between Kevin Harvick and Kyle Larson, but door to door in turns 1 and 2 right now. Larson trying to side draft the 4 of Harvick. His teammate Bowman going to go up towards the outside with him. Harvick going to slide up in line in front of the 48 car, and Larson leads down the back straightaway. We'll have to see how compacted together these cars are going to be. Next expert difficulty is on. Big run for Harvick after Larson got a little further out ahead. Harvick pedaling the throttle a little bit right now. Got a little loose off turn 4. Gonna have to be careful with that in the course of this race today, but he holds on to it. And Kyle Larson will lead the opening lap of the season at Daytona. Gonna have to pit once in each of the stages. Harvick riding in line, being very patient right now. Larson leaving the bottom open. Harvick lifted right as he moved towards that outside, though. Bowman getting a run in third as he moved up to that outer lane as well. Still no rear view mirror. That's going to be a problem, especially with the car pulling as much to the right as it is. Harvick checking down. Nice little run in turns 3 and 4. I'm scared of the bump draft, especially in the corners. I'm not going to lie. NASCAR 21 Ignition has broken me when it comes to these next-gen gaming. Next-gen gaming for NASCAR, at least. The fear of bump drafting is real. Almirola sliding into third, getting around Alex Bowman in the 48 car. Larson's led the first 2 laps now of the Daytona 500 in the new season. Trying to get Kevin Harvick his second title. Larson moving up again. Harvick stayed in the gas that time, was anticipating something like that, but now Almirola's got the run on the outside. He checks up, though, as the 4-car of Harvick moves up in front of him. So a little sensual awareness from the AI, which is different from NASCAR 21 Ignition, because I feel like they would have not lifted at all there. They tend to run through you a little bit more as well. No bump draft again from Harvick, staying hooked on that double yellow line. Gets down underneath Larson, a little contact. Larson's forcing the 4-car down below the double yellow line. Harvick has to lift to keep the car under control. Elliott in the 9-car now with a run as they're stacked up 2 by 2 behind the 4 of Harvick for third on back. Larson's getting way out there now, and Harvick's going to have a massive run on him as he was sitting back, and now off turn 2 as Larson body slammed the 4 of Harvick. Elliott has a run also. He'll go with the 4-car.
That's good. Drive away.
Contact back. Harvick clears him. I got past him before I went below the WL line, so I'm not upset. Our car was drifting towards the right when I got alongside of him again and led to the contact the second time. Harvick gonna lead off turn 4. I kind of don't want to be in the lead blocking. I don't like how they go below the WL line still. They're running that typical NASCAR 21 Ignition line in the tri-oval, and I think that's why Larson slammed Harvick the right side door the lap before that as well. At least I can at least somewhat look out for that now. I really wish this game still had a rearview mirror. That was like one of the few things I desperately wanted. How do we still not have a rearview mirror? Yeah, this is sketchy when you're in the lead at Daytona without a rearview mirror. You were just praying they don't have a massive run and you happen to move up not knowing they're there. We have 195 laps of praying still before the end of this race. Harvick only having to control the 9 of Chase Elliott, though, right now, as he has led these last couple laps after Larson was able to lead the first 3. Sam Monty, thanks for tuning in also. I'll look at the chat as much as I can. I'm trying to stay as focused as possible, at least until I get used to this game now. It looks exactly the same, but it feels a little bit different. Some similarities, but most of the similarities are kind of from the AI standpoint, not necessarily my personal driving standpoint. Glad I went to expert difficulty, though. Yep. Wings kicking off soon. Elliott with a run down low to the inside. Side draft in the 4 of Harvick in the tri-oval. Larson going to go with his teammate down on the bottom lane. Harvick going to cut that momentum off, though, right in front of the 5 of Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott to the lead for the first time at the Daytona 500. A couple lead changes here in the early going. We got the 2014 champ trailing the 2020 champ, followed by the 2021 champ. Bowman and Almirola duking it out for 4th place right now, as you see on the leaderboard on the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Elliott blocks down to the inside. Harvick went high. Momentum broken for the 4 car. Now Larson goes behind Kevin Harvick a little loose off turn 4. Elliott's going to get clipped. Harvick gets clipped. Contact and caution is out at Daytona for the first time as the leaders have crashed off turn 4. Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott are around. I don't know how that started. There was contact. It looked like Elliott might have moved up a little bit into Harvick, throwing a bit of a late block when Harvick went to the outside, and they both lost control after the contact from what it looked on my end. I'll see if I maybe moved down a little bit. I'm going to look at that again. We don't have replays in this game, so I'm just kind of going back in the stream and looking to see what I did there. I was crowding him a bit. I think honestly, it looked like I maybe slightly came down and he slightly came up, but there was definitely contact that knocked both cars sideways. A realistic crash, though, I will say. I mean, nobody flipped wildly like crazy like they probably should have. And unfortunately, two of the faster cars in the field already having to take a back seat in an early accident. Gonna have to pit here. I'm gonna have to repair damage. I don't know how the damage repair is gonna be. If it's gonna be like NASCAR 21, will it actually help? We'll have to wait and see. We got a little bit different animation here for single lug nut pit stops. Should make the stops a little bit quicker. It sounds different too. It actually sounds a little bit more realistic. I'm not gonna. Oh, the cars are at full speed again. I think we're gonna be a lap down. Yeah, that's not fixed, unfortunately. We are still having scoring issues, it looks like. We'll find out once we try to pass that first car. There's a couple cars below the double yellow line on the start. Green flag back in the air. And we'll have to wait and see if Harvick is a lap down or not. Lap 13 on the restart. Harvick was the only car to pit in that accident.
Got one right. Got one right.
Oh, there's a little glitch there off turn 2. Major checkup going on in the back straightaway. Harvick was on the brakes. Backed it down to about 160 miles an hour to keep from wrecking. Hopefully he doesn't lose the draft here. A massive checkup on the back straightaway. A lot of 2x2 racing still going on. In the pack, fight for the bottom now. It looks off turn 4 through most of the field. So one caution already in the Daytona 500. Harvick may be a lap down. Bump draft to the 15 car. Got him a little bit loose. Still don't want to bump draft in the corners. Pass is made. And it doesn't look like Harvick had lost a lap, thankfully, so he is still on the lead lap. That was scaring me, I'm not going to lie. Shades of NASCAR 21 ignition. Like I said, that game broke me. And there's another major checkup at turns 3 and 4. Harvick able to quickly get to the outside lane. Not sure if he wants to be here, though. This is where he got in that wreck. The only other time he was really on the outside.
All clear.
Try to fight his way through the field, though. He's able to get back down to the bottom in the middle of the tri-oval in the 37th place position. Plenty of laps left still in stage 1. About 50 laps left in the stage entirely. A lot of checking up in the middle of the corners. In the middle of the pack. I'm scared it's going to cause Harvick to wreck one of these times. Luckily, he hit the 77 car square that time. More checking up on the back straightaway now. Really having to feather the throttle quite a bit to keep from bouncing into other race cars. A lot of sketchy situations going on. Don't want to be in the middle of the back of the pack. It could be for somewhat of that reason. Harvick down on the bottom, though, right where he wants to be. Side drafted into 6 of Keselowski just a little bit. Letting a check up into turns 1 and 2. Feathering the throttle quite a bit this time. A little contact in the center of the corner. Stenhouse and Buescher. Outside lane starting to get a move on. Harvick saw that, moved up. He's going to abandon Ricky Stenhouse Jr. down on the bottom. Harvick's going to clear him going into turns 3 and 4, and it looks like he's still in the draft of B.J. McLeod in the 78 car. He's getting a big run because he was quite a bit behind him. Stays in the gas, gets to the inside of McLeod, clears him up off turn 4 and up to 30 seconds. So slowly moving his way through the field here after having to pit during that first caution of the race. Still not going to be able to make it on fuel to the end of the stage, so it's one stopper yet for everybody. A little bit of a checkup coming. Harvick towards the outside. 17 car throwing a block. Harvick lifts to pull back in line behind Buescher. So, looks like 2 packs of racing going on. That first pack, they're going 2 and 3 wide, mostly single file, at least till the back straightaway this time around for these other cars in this pack. Another massive checkup. Harvick riding the brakes before making contact with Noah Gragson in the back of the 62.
Stay left. 2 on the outside. You're 3. Car right. All right, hold your line. Still there.
And a big run stalled out immediately after that bump draft to the back of the 62 car.
Still there.
Buescher still on the outside. Harvick with a big run.
You're in the middle here. 3 wide.
He's going to go up the middle, 3 wide, and he's going to get turned. Probably wasn't
One left.
the wisest option there.
All around.
No caution. We stay green. I don't like that. That definitely should have been a caution. I should have downshifted also. I was expecting the caution to come out. That should have been a yellow. We stay green in the Daytona 500 regardless. I was in the middle and then it closed up as soon as I was already there. I was committed. And we almost got through it. Just a little bit of contact with Corey LaJoie is all it took. Get that 4 car sideways. I mean, at these speeds, it makes sense. Should be able to bounce off of cars like that.
1 left. 1 left.
Especially at an expert difficulty.
All right, hold your line. All clear. Stay right. Still next to you. Clear, clear. 1 left.
We're going to slide in line between Keselowski and the 77. We do know that there is going to be a stage break after some point in time. Harvick can try to work with the 6 car of Keselowski. Harvick trying to bump draft the 6 on the back straightaway. A little bit in the corner too. That was a little dangerous to do it in the corner like that, but as long as he hits him square, I guess.
Stay right. Clear all around.
I mean, we're racing for points this season. It'd be nice to get some stage points.
Stay right.
That cost me in the NASCAR 21 Ignition season, only finishing 9th in the regular season standings. Ended up missing by 8 points. If I would have ended up winning the regular season championship, we would have been in the championship 4. So. Or sorry, I was in the championship 4. Never mind. I don't know why I was saying I made it by 8 points. I didn't miss it by 8. Never mind. Anyway, we still want all the points we could get for the regular season standings' sake. We don't know how many different winners we're going to get. If this is going to be anything like the actual 2022 NASCAR season, we might be in strive for more than 16 winners. You might need 2 wins to get in.
Clear, clear, clear.
Especially if there isn't a consistent point show.
Got 1 left. Stay high. All clear. 1 left. Stay high. All right, hold your
Harvick
line.
went to the outside. 77 car went with him. I don't think he committed all the way, though, and fell in line behind Keselowski, but Harvick still had enough of a push to get by the 6. Sloppy Syndicate Show, thanks for tuning in also. This isn't iRacing, this is the NASCAR 21 Ignition season update. Harvick leading this backpack, starting to catch up to the 4-car group in front of him, and then there's that massive, massive gap before the rest of the field. As long as these guys stay on the lead lap to the end of stage 1, obviously they'll be back in it as far as the contention for the race goes. In NASCAR 21 Ignition, there wasn't any free pass given in the first car lap down. It'll be interesting to see if with the season update, if there will be a free pass spot. Hopefully we never have to find out, but just in case you want to stay on the lead lap. Big run for Harvick. Going to go to the outside of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And that lane just opened up massively for Harvick. Pulls right in line behind Corey LaJoie. Going to bump draft him. And he got hooked by the 17 car of Chris Buescher as well. And down into the inside wall. So, I got hit pretty square by the 17 car. Harvick is now...
How about you try turning around?
No, don't black flag me. Don't black flag me. I really hope that didn't black flag.
Road is closed.
Caution's out.
Yellow,
Okay,
yellow.
well, that was a late and delayed yellow. Caution's out for the second time. Harvick is spun into the inside wall. Take 4 tires. We're going to take some fuel. I'm going to try to repair this car a little bit more. I think this game's going to be a struggle again. It is still easy to crash. I will tell you that much. Swiss 1200 Gaming, thanks for tuning in. Got over 50 people watching. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in also. No commentary for the Xfinity. No, I have to work Saturdays usually. That race is during the day too, so. No commentary for Xfinity this weekend, just the Cup side. Caution's going to bunch the field back together. Green flag back in the air. We are, again, racing in Daytona. The Daytona 500, in fact. We've got a major checkup on the restart. Harvick's still at 4th. He's up to 5th now. He's in the wall. I don't like the outside. I better stop going there. It's so baiting because of it being open, but then it closes so quickly. 2 cautions already in the Daytona 500. Everybody's still on the lead lap. No lap traffic yet. I don't think anybody pitted with Harvick either. Still going to be a one-stopper to the end of the stage, even for Harvick. Contact right in front of him heading to turn 1. DJ McLeod and Brad Keselowski making a bit of contact. Giant accordion line right now. And we'll see if there's more checkups on the back straightaway again. And if there is, Harvick's going down to the bottom. Wasn't as much of a checkup that time. It's hard to predict if there is going to be a checkup or not. I think it's just on how much lane changing goes on in front of the pack. If they stay mostly single file, I don't think they're going to check up much. I feel comfortable on the bottom of the... with another car on the outside of me, for the most part. A little sketcy there, but Harvick was able to drive out of it. You'd have to imagine there's some speed wrecked out of this 4 car from the accident, but you see it banged up pretty good on the rear bumper. Actually, G, thanks for tuning in also. Harvick going low underneath Keselowski, inside lane checking up. Luckily the 78 car moved high out of the way. That's going to give Harvick another spot. Been outside the top 30 since qualifying on the pole and getting into that accident with Chase Elliott off the start. He's been kind of trapped back here ever since. Pack is really starting to split up into 2 major groups right now once again, just like on that last restart. So I noticed that the bump draft works when I'm pushing a car. When I'm getting pushed, I can't hang on to it. The 17 of Chris Buescher bump drafted me and hit me pretty clean on the back straightaway, and I got turned, essentially. I mean, he couldn't have hit me any, straighter, and that was before the rear bumper damage. And we've got a spin from Buescher. Caution came out before I hit the wall. We're not pitting. Oh, don't hit that. Why? Yeah, there's a stack up on the back straightaway. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. It happened that time. And it looked like the field stayed out of the pit, so not only Harvick didn't pit, but it looked like everybody else didn't pit either, so I don't think the field wants to pit under caution.
Stay left, 3 wide, 2 outside. Clear all around, clear all around.
Back to close quarters racing again. Boy, moving down, Harvick already there. Check up in the middle of the corner.
Stay left.
I'm just gonna not try to bump draft it. They keep checking up.
Car right, car right.
You end up running into the car in front of you. Oh, we are a lap down. Never mind. We just passed the Reese Hesman's major checkup going on. Harvick's going to stay in the gas. So Harvick is a lap down. We did have a scoring error, unfortunately. So Harvick is a lap down. At least one down. He shouldn't be. We should be on the lead lap. Unfortunately, though, it looks like we've been trapped a lap down. Yeah, there's definitely still some scoring errors with this game, which is unfortunate. Checking up. Are they pitting? They're pitting. That's why. No caution there. There probably should have been. It's going to get Harvick back on the lead lap. My goodness. I don't even know who it was that Harvick hit. I had no clue they were pitting until they basically come to a complete stop. I'm Patrick. Thanks for tuning in also. Thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. Harvick back on the lead lap. We'll see where the rest of the field will cycle. Everybody came to the pits at once, right at about lap 39 in the stage. We're just past halfway through stage 1. 3 cautions so far in the Daytona 500 tonight. Harvick should cycle right in the middle of the pack somewhere. He's getting his positions back though, so he is inside the top 20 again. To level the playing field out a little bit. Harvick might be in position to get stage points after all in this stage. Everybody's still trying to get up to speed down on the bottom. Harvick at speed up on the outside. No drafting help though. Waiting for those cars to pull out of the pits on the bottom of the track. Just got around Christopher Bell, who squeezed him on the outside. Harvick makes a move to the bottom under Briscoe. Passes him for 11th. And he's got a big run now in the back of the 10th place car of Bubba Wallace. So the field is very, very much spaced apart right now. Harvick going to lift. Keep from slamming into the back of Bubba. And now he'll give him a bump draft in the middle of the tri-oval as Wallace is up to speed. Harvick has his teammate, Chase Briscoe, right behind him. Harvick having the speed to get to the inside of the 23. He's not getting any help, though. More cars in this draft, though, from what it seems, than any other cars in front. For Jimenez, thanks for tuning in. Also, Scotty Dingus, thanks for tuning in. Ball's moving up. Harvick, hopefully he's got the push and the help from behind to get by him this time. This is for 10th. This will be a stage point in about 25 more laps. Not able to get there. I don't think Harvick's got the single car speed he did when he qualified on the pole with the damage to it. He involved in 2 of the 3 wrecks. Had a slide through the grass in the most recent one. Watch, it came out a little bit before he hit the inside wall. Every time he pulls out a line, though, he's not able to make those passes anymore, despite the run he gets. Needs a massive push if he's going to be able to make one of these passes one of these times. Gets to the inside of Wallace again. Off turn 4. Briscoe does not go with his teammate, though. Going to hang Harvick out to dry, but Briscoe will let his teammate back in line. Bump draft can work in this game, but it is very, very, very risky. And if you get bump drafted from behind, your car's not stable. If you bump draft the car in front of you, your car can be stable. But you have to hit them perfectly squared. And lap traffic can come into play for some of the back marker cars at the rear of the field as well. Harvick underneath Wallace. Briscoe looked like he was going to the bottom, then pulled up towards the top at the last second. I don't know if Harvick can make it on fuel to the end of the stage. He obviously didn't pit with the rest of the field there. He pitted on the last restart though, but he is burning a lot of gas. Will he clear the 23 with the run he has this time? He does. Off turn 4, Harvick to 10. He's going to try to lead this pack, but I don't know that he's going to be fast enough to do so. Hoping that the pack stays single file behind him. I don't know that they are. Got 5 or 6 cars in this pack right now, mostly single file.
Only a few laps till we pit.
That's scary if that is the case. Harvick's probably going to have to go fuel only and hope he could stay on the lead lap, but I don't think he's going to be able to. I got glued to the apron. Had to lift. Wallace got by on the outside. A lot of damage to the front of the 20 car of Christopher Bell. Wallace getting way out ahead of this pack with nobody to draft with. Got 19 laps to go, stage 1. I do think Harvick's going to have to pit. I thought he might have been just outside the pit lane, though. Harvick's got another big run on the back of Bubba Wallace. Pulls out a line late on the back straightaway, heading for 3 and 4. Had enough speed to get back by him, though, for 10. Harvick kind of hoping a caution comes out at some point. Before the end of the stage. Down to a little bit over a quarter tank of fuel left. Not going to be enough to make it 17 more laps, I don't believe. Harvick, Wallace, Bell, Briscoe. Trying to see who all else is in this group. It's kind of hard to tell when they're a single file as they are.
I'm ready. Pit road in a few laps. I'm ready. Pit road in a few laps.
I give them credit for staying mostly single file. They're trying to get working. It doesn't really matter whether it's the 4 or the 23 leading this pack. They're not really going anywhere. Might as well battle it out for 10th place and for a stage point. One's better than none. Every point matters. Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Austin Dillon, some of the drivers in the top 10, but not quite in the top 5. Remember, there's about 9 cars that are a lap down that are on the track. $15 to go this time by. He's kind of riding around right now, buying his own time. Make sure there isn't going to be any sort of damage repair on the pit stop under the yellow. Just kind of toying around with it just to make sure it's going to be put back to none. It's likely going to be a fuel-only stop for Kevin Harvick. Just to get him to the end of the stage. Then again, if I take tires now and they pit during the stage, we could stay out and kind of hope for another caution. That might be the plan, actually. Sacrifice going a lap down now. In the hopes that in stage 2, if it does go green to the end, risky. It's unfortunate we're not going to be able to see what the rest of the field is going to be able to do in front of us, and whether they pit or not during the stage. We just kind of have to choose our option and go accordingly. If we pit, we'll find out if they pit or not. If we don't pit, we won't know if they pit or not. They pitted just shy of lap 40, so that tells me that they aren't going to pit at the stage break if it's like NASCAR 21 ignition, which means Harvick will get some time back. And they may have to then pit twice in stage 2 as a result. If they don't pit during the stage break, they will likely have to pit twice. So I think I will take fuel and tires.
Got about 5 laps of fuel left.
Under the stop. Harvick again. He'll go a lap down. It'll be a lap down to start stage 2, but I think that's going to be the right strategy call. Going to try to run this out as far as he can. Definitely staying out this time by. 12 laps to go at the line. The race for 10th will be on with the cars that are in this pack currently behind Harvick.
Bring it to us this time. Bring it to us this time. All right, bring it to us this time. Bring it to us this time.
A lot more cars in this pack. Second pack from what it was before. Also the run to the outside. I think he's got to be patient. If his crew chief, Booty Barker's telling him anything, he probably has to be telling him that Harvick's going to be pitting any lap here. Harvick going to stay out one more lap. So he'll stay out this time. He'll pit the following time by. Pit speed limit is 55 miles per hour at Daytona. Want to get caught speeding. Harvick blocks the outside, just trying to hold on to the lead in this pack.
Okay.
Up until he has to pit. He 10 laps to go at the line this time by when Harvick ends up hitting pit road. Corey Free, thanks for tuning in tonight. Harvick will make his green flag stop at stage 1 this time by. He did it during a couple of the cautions earlier, but we knew he wasn't going to be able to make it on fuel to the end of the stage. He's going to be downshifting his way to pit road. 55 miles per hour is pit road speed, and easily will get down to that pit road speed. So 4 tires of fuel for Harvick. He's likely going to go a lap down before the end of stage 1, but the hope is that the rest of the field stays out during the stage break. And if they do, Harvick might want to pit again just to make sure. He's taking tires though, so I don't know. Yeah, definitely going to be a lap down though. Little Bass, thanks for tuning in. New car's worth buying. NASCAR 21 ignition. Should wait for the next NASCAR. So this is, I mean, I've only been playing this racetrack at Daytona. I wouldn't be able to tell you guys at other tracks if it's worth it or not. Harvick making his way off of pit road. I really hope that pack checks up. Please check up. Please check up. Please. Okay, so it was the same pack that Harvick was just in, which is good in the sense that we know that the pit stop was fast. Also means that we know for a fact he's going to be on the lead lap. The wall's way out ahead of this group as Harvick's getting up to speed on the back straightaway. Oh, a little bit of a block. Harvick lifted. Keep running into the back of Bubba in the middle of the corner. I'm having more fun with this than NASCAR 21 Ignition. I will say that much. Is it worth buying for the update? I don't know. I'll know that answer within about a week's time. We'll be racing at Auto Club tomorrow night, Las Vegas on Saturday night. So I'll have a better idea of the intermediates, and then my first short track will be Phoenix next week. I think on Monday. So by Monday, I'll have a pretty good idea for you if you should get it or not. I don't know what it's selling for right now. Bell getting by Harvick now in the draft. Briscoe letting Harvick in line. He's been doing that a lot for him. 2 Toyotas of Wallace and Bell staying nose to tail though. Harvick getting a push from behind from the 14. Considering Harvick is a lap down in 30th, he is the first car a lap down. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually gets the free pass during the stage break. You would think technically he would be able to. Technically I shouldn't be a lap down in the first place, but needless to say. Hopefully the lap will get taken back, at the very least for Harvick's concern. He's got a run, going to give a little bump draft to Christopher Bell, but Bell didn't take that run to the inside of Wallace. Harvick kind of controlling the lanes of traffic behind him. Mainly single file, so a little easier to do that. There's a possibility more cars could be a lap down before the end of the stage. Bell going to the inside, Harvick up high. And he will get by the 20 of Christopher Bell, sliding in line quickly to the inside of Wallace. Didn't have enough of a run to do so. Squeezes barely back in between Wallace and Bell. Harvick down to block the 20. Well, showing a lot of speed in the early going. Harvick underneath Wallace off turn 4. Side by side, Harvick back in line again. Considering Harvick's a lap down right now, that means we have just 5 laps to go at stage 1. Remember, Wallace is in 10th. Bell's still trying to likely get around him for that last stage point. Harvick not in this battle for 10th anymore. Close quarters racing between the 23 and the 4. Wasn't a lot of room there. Nobody goes with Harvick when he pulls out a line down to the bottom. It's getting way out there. Harvick again going low. Bell not going to go with the 4. He might in the tri-oval. Harvick staying alongside Bell, or Wallace I should say, but Bell on the outside with the run. Going to get back by the 4 car, so Bell's in the driver's seat now to try to get that final stage point. He's going to pull out a line, but he doesn't have any help. Harvick a little too far back. He's getting a great push from his teammate Chase Briscoe, who also wants a shot at the stage point. Contact. Harvick got a little sideways there, holds on to it. He hit Bell way too fast.
Clear.
Briscoe's going to get in front of the 4 of Harvick now. Harvick made a great catch of the race car. The wall almost kind of straightened him out a little bit. I do have complex damage on, but I have noticed I've scraped the wall, what is that, like 2 or 3 times now? Haven't blown a tire. I mean, these are composite bodies, so it's a little harder to do that. I will say, the next-gen car, a lot more stability than the Gen 6 car in this game. And not only the stability side of things, but the durability, there's a lot more too. Because Harvick still got decent speed in the draft after being involved in 2 wrecks. 2 of the 3. He's got Michael McDowell pushing him. It's a 3-car race for that final stage point. 2 to go. This time by pit road will be closed. Harvick a little bit too far behind. He's really starting to lose the draft to the top 3 in this pack. Let's go to the outside of Bell, though. Bell shuts the door on Briscoe in the back straightaway. Now, Briscoe looks low at the last second into 3, but obviously nobody behind him. Harvick would like to be there with his teammate, but he isn't. Justin Haley, by the way, in 31st. Make that Josh Bilicki in 31st, just a couple cars behind Harvick. So if there is a free pass awarded and 1 more lap at the stage break, as of right now, Harvick would get the free pass position. Bilicki is right there. McDowell looked to the outside. Harvick hangs on. I think somebody might have gotten underneath. Stage over. Once Bubba Wallace crosses the start-finish line in 10th, the stage will officially come to an end. McDowell with a run. Bilicki is the 3rd car in line behind Harvick. He pulled to the bottom as well. Harvick just has to hang on as long as Wallace, as of right now in 10th, gets to the line. Harvick technically should get the free pass position. And he'll hold it off turn 4. And remain in that spot. Stage 1 over. 4 cautions so far in the Daytona 500. 3 for accident and 1 for the stage break. And your stage 1 winner will be Kyle Larson, who sat on the outside of the front row for this race. So the defending series champion off to a hot start in the Daytona 500. Martin Truex Jr. will finish 2nd after finishing 1st in real life in the first stage of the Daytona 500 this season. Tyler Reddick will end up 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, William Byron rounds out the top 5, Ross Chastain at 6th, Denny Hamlin 7th, Austin Dillon 8th, Joey Logano 9th, Bubba Wallace, as we saw, rounds out the top 10 for stage number 1. Take a screenshot of this real quick, and then we'll get on to stage number 2. On to stage 2. I'm going to pit. Even if I don't actually get the free pass, I will pit. And we'll try to find a way to get back on the lead lap before the end of the race. Not going to be repairing damage anymore. No adjustments on the 4 car here. Already the 4th stop of the day for Harvick. I'm also used to NASCAR 06 now at the same time. I was waiting for like some sort of like mistake on pit road with the animation. It never happened. It's like 1 car's out of the race after stage 1. Not sure who it is exactly. Green flag back in the air in the Daytona 500 though. It looks like Timmy Hill potentially out of the race after the stage. Harvick to the outside here initially. 3 wide, keeping it off the wall. This is getting very tight. And falls in line, luckily hit Larson square. He's riding the brakes as he hit him too, which definitely helped. I think the field pitted. They had to have pit because Larson's back to 29th after winning the first stage. So that tells me that Kyle Larson had pit. Look at that accordion line. Turns 3 and 4 right now. All along the outside of the racetrack. Harvick back into 30th. He did not get the free pass, which is unfortunate. And another 65 laps, by the way, in stage 2. Final stage will be 70 laps. Harvick got in the back of Larson. Oh, I'm still in 4th gear. Gosh darn it. I knew I was going to do that. No wonder I'm holding the pack up. I forgot it was 5 gears. About to blow a motor. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. It seems like it's helping Harvick a little bit at least. As he's starting to pull away from the cars behind him now. Nowhere close enough to the cars in front of him. Riding around in no man's land. Michael, I didn't even see your comment about being in 5th gear until just now. Oh, Jesus. I costed myself on that last restart. I didn't think that contact slowed me down that much. I was just in the wrong gear the whole time. It's the first time I have to worry about 5th gear. It's already causing me problems in this first race. Harvick leading his backpack in 30th. Plus the running order got randomized. I do think the field pitted during stage 1 outside of just Harvick. I didn't see anybody else on pit road, but I do think they all pitted considering where Larson restarted after winning stage 1. If for some reason that wasn't the case, we will probably end up finding out fairly soon. Pitted lap 38, 39, right around there, the very first stop of the race for the rest of the field under green flag conditions in stage 1. So I'm kind of looking at about lap 76, maybe 76 to 78. They'll pit again, which is in about another 7+ laps. They will make a green flag stop, and if they don't, that means they pitted during the stage break. And I'll know that for stage 2. So probably end up doing it again, you'd have to imagine.
Car right. Clear, clear, clear,
Especially
clear.
the 17 car also locked down. I think he's fast enough to lead this pack.
Car right.
I had an itch. I almost wrecked. Oh my gosh. Can't take my hand off the controller for 1 second. Not even on a super speedway. Over the outside to block Busher for right now. I'm going to let Busher get in front of me if at all possible. Try to slide in line between Busher and Balicki. Harvick leaving the bottom open for Busher. Busher not going for it though. He stays in line behind Harvick on the outside lane. Busher pulling out of line again, but he's not getting any help when he was getting a little bit of help, I guess. Still not enough of a push from Balicki behind him. Pulling down to the bottom, he wants Busher to get by. He doesn't want to lift at the same time. Busher getting the push.
Still there. All clear. Car right.
Almost clear of Harvick.
Clear all around. Got one right.
Not quite though.
Still there. Clear, clear. Stay left.
And now he's clear. Harvick hops in line in front of Balicki. Busher going to lead this pack. Harvick going to give a big push to the 17 as well.
Got one right.
Out in the middle of the corner though.
Clear, clear, clear.
Middle of the corner. That time Harvick going to push the 17.
Car right. Clear, clear, clear.
Push him away from everybody else behind him.
Stay left.
Harvick unintentionally pulling low underneath Busher.
Clear, clear. Car
The
right.
runs are just too big.
Clear, clear.
The car's second in line. Interesting to see if Balicki and Busher start to pull away. Or if Harvick's going to be able to stay in line with them. Harvick will. Oh, Balicki's pitting! Balicki is pitting out of nowhere. And Harvick is going to get turned as a result.
One left.
And no caution.
Pit entry.
Now the caution's on.
Yellow, yellow.
I was not expecting Balicki to pit randomly there. I hear people laughing in the background. What the heck? That was the game, I believe. I don't even know what happened. Balicki went to pit out of nowhere. What lap was that? It was lap 75, so that tells me he didn't pit during the stage break. So you mean to tell me everybody pitted during the stage break except for Josh Balicki? who happened to be right in front of me at the time of him pitting. What kind of luck is that? Caution's out. Fuel and tires for Harvick. I don't think I had too much damage, hopefully. It has been a very unlucky Daytona 500 so far. 30th at the end of stage 1. Still, I mean, we've still been outside the top 30 since losing the lead. It looked like everybody else was on pit road. Not everybody, but there were a lot of cars on pit road. So that tells me they did not pit during the stage break, like I maybe thought they did. Green flag back in the air at Daytona. The unfortunate side of things is Harvick now 2 laps down rather than just 1. We'll have to wait and see. I'm in 5th gear this time. I didn't forget. Trying to get a push from Denny Hamlin in 3rd. Suarez in 2nd. I'm not sure who the leader is here. It's unfortunate we don't know how many laps down Harvick is. It shouldn't be any laps down. Again, there are still scoring issues with this game, which is a big problem. I shouldn't be any laps down, but I'm either 1 or 2 laps down. Single file at the front of the field. A little bit of checking up going on, though, on the back straightaway. Harvick pulling down towards the bottom under Suarez. Oh, man, he got hooked. What was that? No caution. Now the caution comes. It is... I mean, this feels like NASCAR 21 ignition to a certain extent. I might have moved up a little bit, but I swear I held my line. It might not have looked like it, but it feels like I'm holding my line. Very skatey feel. Try to pit again. The Junkyard 500 at Daytona. Wow. I mean, again, you guys, people that are familiar with the channel know that I don't usually wreck a lot. For whatever reason, in NASCAR 21 Ignition, well, we know the reasons. In NASCAR 21 Ignition, I wrecked well more than usual. And we're kind of seeing that in this, too. And the more it happens, the more it feels like a copy and paste game, honestly. Which I figured it was going to be. I think it's slightly better. I don't like how there was that massive checkup again. I think they check up because everybody's trying to get into one line. Let's see if that happens again or not. Nice how the pack just splits up into 2 every single time. I think that the rest of the field will have to pit before the end of the stage. So hopefully we can get some green flag racing in here. They pit before the end of the stage. Harvick can... I don't think Harvick can make it either, though. That's the problem. I don't think anybody can make it personally. Got really loose after that contact.
Clear all around.
I'm probably gonna lose the draft now. Man, you've got to be kidding me. We've lost the draft. Tempted to purposely bring out a yellow, but the unfortunate side of it is that we're probably going to lose a lap if we do it. Pull a Carson Hocevar. They might black flag me a lap for it. I also want to know why, when I try to fill the fuel tank up, why no gas, or not all the gas gets put in the car. Like, I'm already a quarter of a tank out. I literally just pitted like 3 laps ago. And I'm almost wondering if it even fuels the car under caution. That could be a problem. That also means that every time I pit it under yellow is been a waste of time, if that is the case. There's definitely some speed knocked out of this car, though. Single car speeds. End of the straightaway, even on the back stretch, we're seeing 173 out of Harvick's car now with the damage. When he qualified on the pole, he was running about low 180, about 182, 183, so his car's about 10 miles an hour slower on his own. He can hang on in the pack, but a very slight bobble mistake or hopping out of line to try and make a pass and getting back in line, he's too slow, but they check up so much, though, middle of the pack also. So hard to gauge and predict all of this. Be sure to hit that like button, though, if you have not already done so. We're at 43 right now. See if we can get to 50 as soon as possible. Hopefully beyond that as well. I'm going to test something here. I'm going to try to bring out a caution. Not wreck my car any more than it's already wrecked.
Pit entry is red.
Okay.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
So we got a yellow. I'm going to pit. And I want to see if the car actually gets fuel in it. I might have lost another lap doing that. Obviously, we have the fuel on, 4 tires on. We're going to pit for fuel and tires. No adjustments. And we are going to see where the fuel gauge is at when I come out. There's a little less than a quarter tank of gas already used. If it's at that still, then the cars don't get fuel under cautions, which really stinks. I mean, that throws all strategy out the window. Okay, so it does fuel it up, but it doesn't actually top it completely off. I don't like that. Green flag back in the air. So it doesn't top it completely off, but it does fuel it up a little bit. Probably going to have another checkup on the restart turns 1 and 2. Harvick's ready for it. It just never happened.
Clear, clear. Got one left.
Hooked on the 16 car.
All clear. Got one left.
AJ Allmendinger.
All right, keep it high. Still there. All right, hold your line.
Now they're checking
Clear,
up.
clear. Got one left.
Checking up more in turns 3 and 4 this time. Wasn't necessarily in 1 and 2. I think Harvick's still 1 lap down through all this, as he's gained some positions with those passes up to 36. I do think the rest of the field will have to pit before the end of stage 2. At the halfway mark right now, the Daytona 500, we've had 6 cautions, 3 in the first stage, 3 in the second. Unfortunately, Kevin Harvick does not have the speed to hang on with the lead draft, even with cars behind him anymore. He's got way too much damage to his car. He's running about 183 miles an hour, but still getting pulled. With the car behind him, at least, he's running that fast. Not really going to be a whole lot he can do from here. Jackson Thomas, thanks for tuning into the stream. I'm doing fine this evening. As far as the race goes, maybe not so much. But yeah, this car's all sorts of beaten up for Kevin Harvick. Been in one too many wrecks tonight, unfortunately, and we have no chance to keep up with that pack. I didn't lift at all. Got a couple spots on the checkup in 3 and 4, and that was it. So the field, seemingly, maybe some cars do, but we know the full field does not pit during the stage breaks. And they only pit during the cautions when they're at the edge of their fuel window if they haven't already pitted. Which is the same as what it was with NASCAR 21 Ignition. So we could try to go off of that the rest of this race and maybe get back on the lead lap, but when it comes to speed, there's just no chance Harvick could hang on in the draft right now. Oh, I'm in 4th gear again, that's why. God, you've got to be kidding me. That is twice I've been in 4th gear. Maybe we do have speed, I have no clue. That is twice I've done that now. Ridiculous. Two times I've done that. Start 3, I'm out. I didn't think that was going to confuse me as much as what I thought it was going to today. Just wait till we get to the road courses. Oh, jeez. Thought Daytona was rough on the shifting. Speed-wise, it's not really much different. Just as slow still it looks. Looks like Denny Hamlin is the race leader currently. Harvick able to keep up with Corrala. Now that he's in 5th gear. Well, dropped at him for quite a ways. Didn't hit him very square that time though. The rest of the field gonna have to pit probably just before lap 120. I probably lean towards about lap 112 to 115. We're going to be seeing some pit stops once again. Harvick going to be ready for it this time. Can't have a caution this time around with those pit stops happening either. Draft got Harvick a little loose, slides up right in front of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 47. 34th, 35th right now on the leaderboard would be Gralla and Harvick. Alright, so I still have some sort of faith in the draft. Unfortunately, Harvick is upside down in the infield at Daytona. Bump draft is so risky, as I mentioned already. We were so close to pit stops. That was a wild crash.
Dave, caution, caution.
Well, there we go. Okay. We got the caution. I'm gonna have to pit. Probably gonna have to pit again. I think I have a tire down. I mean, it felt like it. The fact that this car is still running after that, these next-gen cars, very durable. We've taken some lethal hits today. Green flag back in the air. 15 laps to go in stage 2 of the Daytona 500. I'm in 5th gear this time. Please stay in the draft, please. I'm begging.
Got one right.
Lift it just a little bit. Oh, we got to get back in line. Austin Dillon behind him. I think Dillon might have pit also. Tire went down with a flip. I think so.
3 wide, 2 down there.
Checking up going on, and 3 and 4 on the restart again.
3 wide, 2 down there.
A lot of checking up going on the restart. They're pitting. That's why they're pitting. One car pitted.
Stay right.
Harvick was riding the wall
All clear.
to keep from wrecking.
Car right. Still there.
And he's up to 28,
All clear.
which I believe would be the first car 1 lap down still. Everything that has happened. 1 car pitted off turn 4. We'll see if more cars will pit this time by. There's only 1 car in front of Harvick, and that would be Denny Hamlin in the 11. Harvick trying to stay with Hamlin. He lost a lot of momentum. But Wallace has picked him up in the draft now. A lot of cars coming into the pits this time. Hamlin's checking up. Harvick gets by it.
Clear, clear.
We'll find out next time by if Harvick's going to be back on the lead lap. Harvick got Hamlin to the lead. Wallace second. 23 on the 11. Still out on the racetrack. We're going to get back into this race one way or another. Oh, this has been very unpredictable as I imagined it was going to be. But it's falling into the lines of NASCAR 21 unpredictable, which is not what I would have hoped for. But needless to say, hopefully we get into the final stage. We can just reset everything and go from there. Hamlin going to stay out this time by as well. He is the leader. Not sure if Bubba Wallace is going to pit this time. He will not. Hamlin Wallace battling for the stage win, and maybe they have pitted. A lot of cars down on the inside of the track. One pulling up onto the racing surface a little early. It's Ross Chastain, go figure. Pulled up right in front of Denny Hamlin in the 11. Hamlin gets by on the outside. Harvick needs to stay in front of the 11. Everybody is going a lap down on the bottom of the track, though. Underneath the 23 and the 11 cars who are battling for the stage potential win right now. Harvick needs to stay in front of Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace to stay on the lead lap to the end of stage 2. Likely, at least. Still not in position to get any stage points. Caution's out. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Caution is out.
Can we pay attention, please?
Crew chief's yelling at me. Caution is out. It'll be number 8 in this race. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's the 9th caution of the race if you count the stage break. Stage 1. So, Harvick back up to 12th. Gonna stay out of the pits here, trying to get that track position. I really hope I don't have a tire down because of green flag back in the air for the restart. Harvick got a big time yellow. Stayed out of the pits because we're nearing the end of the stage. Quickly gets down to the bottom lane, 2x2 up ahead. At least for some of the traffic, single file through the top 4 or 5 cars. And we're down to just 7 laps to go in the stage.
3 wide, 2 outside.
Harvick down on the bottom. He has his teammate Chase Briscoe down there for a moment. Bump drafting Ty Dillon in the 42. Mid-5th gear. The checkup going on in turns 3 and 4. Harvick's got a shot at some stage points. Harvick trying to lead this second group to that lead pack of 11 cars. I shifted a lot later, but I was with the pack when I shifted. They checked up and I lifted to keep from running into the back of Ty Dillon, and that's all it takes to break the momentum and lose the draft. Harvick is not fast enough to get this pack up there either. He's going to need Byron to get around him. Or they're going to have to race 2x2 up there, which isn't impossible. It looked like they were trying to fan out in the tri-oval, couldn't do it. 5 laps to go. Byron going to get by Harvick. That was a spot. It was a big-timing yellow to at least get Harvick back on the lead lap before the end of the stage. He wasn't going to have to try to block it faster. Denny Hamlin, who was in line behind him. Kind of pulling away by himself right now. Getting a push from Chastain. That lead pack is already pulled too far ahead. We're just going to have to start being more aggressive on the restarts instead of just trying to stay in line because it's just not working. Car's 2 damage. I haven't been repairing damage under the last couple of pit stops because it doesn't even do anything. It's just like NASCAR 21 ignition. The damage is still there. Still very visible, and it's not repairing the car at all the way back from that first wreck we were in. It was repairing damage the first couple accidents. It doesn't help Harvick's flipped already, too. You imagine that would take speed out regardless. Well, I mentioned we might see some strategy today, and we're definitely going to. Down to 3 laps to go in stage 2. Harvick in 13th, riding it out right now, but he is on the lead lap. First time he could say that since very early in this race. you're saying there's a chance going into the final stage of the Daytona 500 one way or another, Harvick will be able to pit during the stage break. We know everybody else is going to stay out. Harvick's going to have to time this restart a lot better than what he has. And hope he gets the push. Hopefully keep that momentum up. He can't lift. We better hope that if he gets into the back of another car, he hits him square. Cannot lift in the final stage. 2 laps to go, though, in stage 2 currently. And the stage break will end up being caution number 9 today in the Daytona 500. Pulling out of line down towards the bottom. Harvick gonna block. Final lap of the stage this time by. Once the 10th place car crosses the start-finish line, the stage will officially come to an end, and that 9th caution will come out. Harvick doesn't even have to hang on for the full 2.5 miles around this racetrack in front of Chastain. Just to hold on for his position. Here for the time being. Off of turn 2, Chastain has a run. Back straightaway, pulls down to the inside. Delayed block by Harvick, but he's able to pull it off in time. Back to the top, and then back down to the double yellow line into 3.
Yellow.
There it is. Caution's out. Stage is over. We'll take a look at the Stage 2 results. Denny Hamlin will get the Stage 2 victory. Playoff points to his credit. Bubba Wallace will end up second. Stage points in both stages for him tonight. Austin Dillon third. Austin Cindric fourth. Kyle Busch in fifth. Justin Haley 6th, Cody Ware in 7th, Martin Truex Jr. in 8th. He's had a great race so far as well. Joey Logano 9th, and Chase Briscoe rounds out the top 10. And then Harvick can finish 30th in Stage 1, up to 13th at the end of Stage number 2. And he will pit during the stage break coming up as well.
This road is closed. We cannot pass under yellow.
Alright, so we will pit here. Fuel and tires. No adjustments on the 4 of Kevin Harvick. He has flipped in this race. I flipped and won a truck race at Atlanta in NASCAR 6 with Ricky Craven. Can we do it 2 times in 1 week? But this time at the Daytona 500 to get the win with Kevin Harvick. You never know. Jacob Givens, thanks for tuning in. How bad is it? It's not as bad as NASCAR 21, but it's pretty darn close. And more towards NASCAR Heat Evolution. Fortunately, with Harvick pitting, he's at the back of the pack, so he's back in 28th. Last car in the lead lap. Into turns 1 and 2 they go. Chastain back there with him. Harvick gonna pull up in line. Scrambling for position right now down the back straightaway in front of the 4 car. They're checking up. Harvick down to the bottom. Mentioned that he wasn't going to lift. He didn't do so that time. Are sliding up in line though in front of him.
Clear.
He'll get back into line quickly in front of Kurt Busch in the 45, but that's all it takes. I mean, they accelerate off turn 4 so much more than Kevin Harvick with the damaged car. Harvick able to get 2 positions, and that was it. I mean, they just get launched out of a cannon. You can't even hang on. And Harvick was very competitive on speed before the damage. Even before the flip. This is on PS4. I mean, bugs, I don't really see any. At least at Daytona so far. Obviously, again, other tracks maybe there could be They check up a little bit on the restarts, but like during the actual green flag racing, they don't really check up. Harvick did sacrifice his position there. Probably looking at the rest of the field pitting right around lap 150. Which means it's a 2-stop race for everybody except for Kevin Harvick. Harvick, it's going to be a 1-stop race. Everybody else, it's going to be 2 stops. Does that mean Kevin Harvick can win this Daytona 500 if it goes caution-free? Which I think is definitely a possibility, and we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Obviously, the scorecard very slow. He might lose a lap on pace itself. Doesn't matter whether he's the lead car or not in the pack. He lets the lead car go, and that single car kind of pulls away from him. So, obviously, in the draft is faster than not being in the draft. Collectively, whether it's a car in front or behind you, he's going to let Kurt Busch in the 45 go. He's going to slide up in line in front of BJ McLeod. He's a lap down to 36. Stenhouse behind him, also a lap down. Harvick trying to stay behind Busch. Allowing to save a little bit more fuel. Harvick's going to have to go 35 laps per run, which is quite a long ways to go. So he is going to need to draft and try to save some fuel to make sure he is going to be able to make it on 1 stop. But it's definitely a 2-stopper for the rest of the field. And that could be the difference maker in Kevin Harvick potentially winning this Daytona 500 and not having a good finish at all. Closed in on the back of Harvick. Harvick goes in on the back of Kurt Busch. He's managing the throttle now. Kurt Busch leading this draft, and we'll see if they can catch up to maybe anybody else. Speeds are obviously up with Kurt leading the draft versus Harvick. You know, Bubba Wallace has a fast car. Denny Hamlin, of course, at Toyota as well, just won Stage 2. Maybe Kurt Busch is a good car to lead this draft. Hard for Harvick to get up to the bumper and actually stay to the bumper with Kurt Busch. Going to catch him more in the back straightaway this time. They're just trying to ride it out. Gonna have to be on the lookout whenever Kurt Busch pits. Luckily, it's only one car he's gonna have to worry about. Again, I'd probably lean towards about lap 150, that taking place. Give or take, obviously. Could be a couple laps before, a couple laps after, but probably looking at somewhere around there. Got 9 cautions today. 5 in Stage 2, 4 in Stage 1. Really prolonged this race quite a bit, actually. I mean, we've been streaming for a little over 2 hours, and we still have a little over 60 laps to go. But this might be a little bit more of an exciting finish than what I would have thought, the way most of this race has gone so far. Harvick's already been involved in the big one. He's already flipped, so he can't really say ride back here is a safe thing, but maybe safer than being up in the lead pack. No stage points for Harvick today, so if he's going to have a good point today, he's going to have to solely get a good finish. Move down in the middle just a little bit. Harvick has to go down towards the middle bottom, trying to block BJ McLeod. hard to tell whether or not Kurt Busch is leading this pack forward. I think they're staying more stagnated. I don't think they're really losing any time. I think they're gaining any on that pack ahead of them as well. The bump draft Kurt Busch in the middle of the corner. Again, Harvick does not want to lift at any cost. And we know the bump drafting has been dangerous, especially in the middle of the corner so far today. Harvick's just got to make sure he's got to hit him square every single time. Be a little bit more patient with it if his car wasn't beat up and he wasn't so slow. When he lifts, he loses a lot more than a lot of other drivers would. I do think that this group is slowly catching the middle group. There's kind of three groups right now. The lead pack, which has the most cars and is probably the fastest, assuming that they're all still single file in line. Harvick burped the throttle just a bit off turn 2. And that's only because he wasn't centered with Kurt Busch, and that's going to allow Busch to pull a bit on the back straightaway. And into turns 3 and 4, Harvick going to try to close that gap back again. Harvick's car can't hold on to a bump draft either. The good thing that BJ McLeod isn't exactly hitting him. Staying close enough behind him that Harvick's still able to keep his energy in the pack up. Field can really be pitting any lap now. See anybody in that middle group pitting this time? Kurt Busch will stay out as well. 60 laps to go now in the Great American Race. More NASCAR 22 season update racing coming up throughout the rest of the week, heading into the weekend. Tomorrow night we've got Auto Club, the Wise Power 400 at the Auto Club Speedway. Another 200 lap race tomorrow night. It'll be the first intermediate check I get to test out on this new rendition of the game. This group is, like I said, they're very slowly closing in on that middle group. Green flag pit stop's going to space the field out quite a bit more as well, and then these packs that you're seeing now are going to get even smaller in numbers. Really going to have to hope that you have some good cars around you, and that's where the horsepower of these better race cars is really going to come into play. Did we restart like the race itself? No. No, I would never. I'm done doing that. I only did that with NASCAR 21 Edition. There was a handful of times that I'm not doing that again. Cars look all mangled up. Yeah, well, we are. We flipped already, so. Just trying to run 60 perfect laps, or more than that, really, 70 perfect laps from the start of the stage to the end. We'll see if Kevin Harvick's going to have a shot. Mid-strategy sequences, he's going to have to stretch it on fuel a little bit, but looking to hopefully make it on one pit stop, so that's part of the reason why he's not leading this draft anymore, and he let Kurt Busch in front of him. Try to save a little bit of fuel in the draft. BJ McLeod, the 78, pushing him. He isn't even on the same lap as Harvick and Busch. They're about 27 or 28 cars on the lead lap. And 28 if I'm not mistaken. Nobody pits that time. Nobody on or leaving pit road either. With a little bit of a slight push to Kurt Busch that time off turn 2. 78 was pretty close behind the 4 also. Very little room for error. Nobody checking up out of the gas either. How am I going to keep track of points? I mean, the point system's pretty easy, especially nowadays. Just 1 point per position. Obviously, if you're in the top 10, at the end of the stages, you get stage points, 1 point per position. 1 for 10, 2 for 9th, all the way up. So it's easy. I did it for NASCAR 21 Ignition and for NASCAR Heat 5, if I'm not mistaken, because we had some game crashes there that we couldn't actually get to the end of the season. So I'll be doing the points again. Can't check the points at the end of every race because I have to go through all 40 drivers. I have to do that on my own time. But for the start of the following race, you guys will see it up on the top of the screen. However many I can fit up on the screen at once. Scroll across like we have had in the NASCAR 6 gameplay. Towards the end of NASCAR 21 Ignition as well, we have the same thing. It's the same point system. It's not a different point system. We'll still have the playoffs and all that. We're at lap 146, still waiting on these drivers to pit. Starting to think maybe it'll be closer to lap 160 when they hit pit road. We'll just have to wait and see. Harvick's got a run on Kurt Busch this time. He's going to go down to the inside just in case. Kurt stays out. Harvick back in line. Harvick didn't lift at all there, so he should get his momentum back at a decent rate. Trying to play it safe. Obviously, if Kurt was pitting, you wouldn't want to be underneath him, but at least he wasn't going to run into the back of him checking up, because it feels pretty slow when they check up trying to come into the pits. Again, Harvick is on the lead lap. He got his lap back through green flag pit stops at stage 2 and caught a lucky caution with about 12 laps to go in the stage. When he was right in front of the leader, Denny Hamlin was able to stay on the lead lap. Ended up 13th at the end of stage 2. A lot better than his 30th at the end of stage 1. Nobody got a pit this time. As long as they don't make it to about 40 laps to go, they're not going to be able to make it on fuel on just 1 stop. So Harvick's not nervous about them only pitting once yet. Harvick's about halfway on fuel himself. We're on lap 19 of this final stage. Going to pit this time either. Sounds like a little bit of a block on McLeod. A lot bigger run in the trial for the 78 car that time. Harvick's closing in on the back of Kurt Busch. A couple of former teammates. Busch and Harvick. Back when Kurt Busch drove the 41 at SHR. Harvick was obviously still in the 4. We have had a lot of train racing, I will say that much. Not as much side-by-side racing outside of restarts. I mean, it was racy at the beginning. We were kind of controlling things at the front of the pack. All it took was one accident. It took to be a little bit more patient. Kind of like I was with NASCAR 21 ignition at the end of the line. I'm starting to get a little bit more momentum going my way. I'm going to have to keep that same patience here, too. Made it to lap 150. Still have not seen anybody pit. It's possible they could have pit during the stage break. I don't think they did because they didn't during stage 1. And they also ended up actually pitting, like I said, in the last dozen laps, stage 2. So they can go pretty far into the stage on fuel, but not quite as far as Harvick, who did pit during the stage 2 break. 50 laps to go in the Daytona 500 at the line this time. And again, the field does not pit. Harvick was looking low briefly, just in case Kurt Busch wanted to pull down or slow up in any way. Harvick was going to have an opportunity to get around him quickly. Down in the final quarter of the race. We've actually made it. No game crashes. No major bugs. Riding in 26th on the backpack of the draft. Busch will not pit this time either. About a third of a tank of fuel left for Harvick yet. As long as he makes it 35 laps, he's going to be able to make it on one stop in the stage. Cloud going to give Harvick a big push into turn 1. Harvick's got a pretty big run on the back of the 45 car of Kurt Busch as well. On the back straightaway, he's going to push the 45 of Busch. Cloud pulling out of line. Nobody went with him, though. Harvick was leading this draft for almost a dozen laps at the start of the stage, and there are cars pitting this time, and Kurt Busch will be one of which, heading to pit road. There were about 3 cars in front of him also on pit lane. So Harvick was able to get high in time out of Kurt Busch's way. Not everybody in that pack behind him pitted. In fact, McLeod Stenhouse stayed out, and I believe Ross Chastain as well. Harvick pulled away a little bit, though, evading Busch a little bit quicker than those 3 cars that also stayed out behind him. So no drafting help right now for Kevin Harvick. It's the moment of truth, though. And again, Harvick needs to maintain enough pace to hopefully be able to make it fuel-wise on one stop. He doesn't have anybody to draft with, so he's not going to be able to save any extra fuel either. We are seeing green flag pit stops. Still not in the window to make it to the end of this race.
Only a few laps till we finish.
Plenty of time still before Harvick pits. It looks like Justin Haley is in the lead for the first time in the Daytona 500. Maybe only 2.5 seconds behind Harvick, which is concerning because that means the lead pack was pretty close to that backpack when green flag pit stop started. Harvick still hasn't had any drafting help. I mean, that's still a full lap. And Harvick may have to consider pitting for fuel only when he does make his stop. Try to get some of this track position back, but those tires are going to be extremely worn out. And the bump drafting, you might want to stay away from it at the end of the race if that is the case also. And I believe Justin Haley just came into the pits that time. In the lead. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just got slowed up. The car's pitting ahead of him. Field start at pit road. Oh my God, so jeez. a lot more cars on pit road now. I can hear Chastain closing in off turn 4. He's got a pack of cars with him. A lot more in right now. Down to 45 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Harvick up inside the top 15. Chastain with a major run to the outside. Harvick going to slide up in front of the race leader, Justin Haley. Bubba Wallace in second behind him. A quarter tank of fuel left for Harvick right now. Chastain was going a little too quick for him to stay with the 1 car. Haley pushing the 4 of Harvick on the back straightaway. Harvick trying to stay on the lead lap in case we get a caution. Haley staying out again. More cars in the pits. Should probably cycle Harvick inside the top 10. And it does. Up to 10. Usually in real-life super speedway racing, you see the whole field come down within a couple laps. 2 to 3 laps of each other, but not here in this race in the Daytona 500 at least. And as we run, just 10 cars on the lead lap. Harvick just trying to stay in front of Justin Haley as much as he can right now. No mirror, but theoretically mirror driving. Try to make up a full lap on this 31 car. That's not going to be easy.
We got about 5 laps of fuel left.
Harvick just trying to make it to 35. Harvick up to 8th. That left rear tires wearing out a bit more than both the front tires as well as the right rear tire on Kevin Harvick's Ford Mustang. Chastain staying out of the pits up ahead. It looks like Justin Haley will stay out again off turn 4 as well.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
Take a snapshot. Cody Ware's in 9th place right now. .40 laps to go in the Daytona 500. This time by. Harvick with a block on Haley to the outside off turn 4.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
We had a caution in the same circumstance in stage 2. So although he could save more fuel in the draft behind Haley, not choosing to do that right now. Caught the apron, and Harvick's going to go around and backs it into the outside wall. That's a concussion. All right. Oh,
Passing under yellow.
that's all it took was clipping the apron. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take tires now. And unfortunately, also, I think we're still outside the pit window to make it on fuel to the end of the race. Jeez, that is not what I wanted to have happen there. We needed a caution, not like that, and Haley got around us before the caution came out, so we're going to be a lap down again. Should be, at least. We're going to have to pit. That's deflating, and that means everybody else that's still on the track and hadn't pit is probably going to pit during the caution flag now. I don't know that Harvick can make it on one more stop. We'll have to see on the restart how many laps we're going to have left. Yeah, Chastain in the pit. There were some other cars on pit road too. Green flag back in the air. They're trying to keep his momentum up.
You're up top. Clear, clear, clear. Clear, clear, clear.
Might see some checking up going on the back straightaway. Contact from Stenhouse in the 47 car. Harvick pushing the 47 of Stenhouse down in the bottom lane. He's trying to stay in the draft even through that checkup.
Still there.
Field's still pretty closely compacted together. Harvick trying to get to the outside as soon as he can. Everybody moving up towards the top. He gets around Stenhouse up high. He hasn't had a lot of luck on the outsides where he's wrecked a few times. Needs to have a little bit bigger of a push from behind if he's going to want to stay with this lead pack. Oh, they're checking up enough. Might help. Harvick had to pedal the throttle into 3 and 4.
Clear, clear.
Well, it worked out for him enough, it looked. Wasn't expecting another checkup. He gets around LaJoy.
All clear.
A lap down. Will they check up potentially again? Probably going to need to. They are checking up again. Harvick has a massive run with it. On the back straightaway. And Corey LaJoy is right behind him as well. So even with Harvick being a lap down though, all but what, 7 or 8 cars would technically be a lap down? Amazing how much of these cars are checking up. Harvick has to go to the outside again, barely keeping it off the wall and keeping it off of a lot of other drivers. At the 24th. Doesn't get enough help from behind though when he slides back into line, and that's why he's losing the pack of cars in front of him as well. That's 30 laps to go. This time by. The only good news with Harvick being a lap down, that's one less lap he has to go to the end of the race if it is going to be tight on fuel. I don't know that anybody can make it, though. Denny G2 Gaming, thanks for tuning in. $39 laps to go with the 29, laps to go with the Daytona 500. or NASCAR 22 season. Harvick back to 24th, unfortunately, being involved in that accident, having to pit under the yellow. It's a lap down as well as most of the field when the caution came out. And he is holding up this second group quite a bit. Most of, if not all, the field still has to pit one more time to the end of the race. It could be a potential fuel mileage race to the finish. It'll be interesting to see if that will exactly be the case. Harvick in the 4, probably a couple laps short if I had to guess. All in the 50 gets by. Harvick wanted another car to try to lead so he could try to save fuel. Rallo's 2 laps down in the 50 car for the money team. Jones would be for position as well as Suarez behind Harvick. I don't know that Rallo's car necessarily is going to be fast to lead this pack, but Harvick pretty much just in fuel strategy mode any way, shape, or form.
Got one left. Clear all around. Clear all around.
Harvick went to the outside of Gralla. Jones went down to the bottom behind the 50 and pulled out of line and back to the outside with Harvick. It was too late. Harvick down to the bottom of the 50 car. Jones not going to go there. Harvick back in line. A big push. Glad they don't hit me in the back like I hit them sometimes, because I would definitely not be able to handle it. It happened once, I wasn't able to. It was fun. I think that magic number to make it upfield at the end of the race, we're going to have to get down to about 18 laps to go to even have a shot to make it upfield to the end. Before we hit halfway on field, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I'm definitely going fuel only on the final stop, though. Trying to get some track position back any way possible. Especially being this late in the race now, it's definitely going to be a viable option. Playoff spot obviously on the line, but the prestige of winning the Daytona 500 is the bigger deal here as we get closer to the finish. With a push again to Gralla. Didn't hit him perfectly square that time. Gralla still holds on. I think I'll have redemption at Daytona next time we come here, and even the other super speedways at Atlanta and Talladega. I have an idea of what I can do after 175 laps and counting. You know, I know where I can and can't push these guys. I just have to be more patient and ride in line, honestly. That push actually shot the 50 forward and knocked the 4 car back a little bit. Eric Jones gets by for 24th. Harvick back in line. Here's Daniel Suarez in the 99 car for Trackhouse Racing pushing him. Jones pulling out, maybe trying to make a pass on Gralla. Harvick with a run going to the outside of the 43. Oh, caution's out. That changes everything. Caution is out. I didn't even think about that potentially happening. With about 25 laps to go, the yellow flag is out in the Daytona 500. And Harvick will pit because now he can make it on fuel to the end of the race. Will everybody else, though, then be able to make it up field to the finish? That might be the one thing that gave Harvick a shot to win this race still. Hold the phone, everybody. It is not over. Although Harvick is a lap down. Drivers will be able to save quite a few cars on pit road as well. And we're going to head to the restart. Harvick actually gains 3 spots on pit road. A restart in 21st. Green flag back in the air in the Daytona 500 as we have just 19 laps to go in the Great American Race.
3 wide, you're up top.
Going towards the outside. 3 wide, a little contact with Stenhouse. Still 3 wide, trying to hold his line as best as he can. It's getting very, very tight. A little too much for my liking. Checking up a bit on the back straightaway. Harvick keeping his foot down. 3 wide again as they enter turns 3 and 4. Committed and hoping the field does not wreck here. This is hairy. A hairy situation to be in if you're Kevin Harvick. My goodness. That was the most nerve-wracking part of the race, I think, so far. Byron pulls up right in front of Harvick. Harvick gave him a big shot. Harvick has found his teammate in the 24 car, though, of Chase Briscoe. Strapped to the back of the 24. Harvick does not want to lift anymore at this point. Race is on now. Byron pulling out of line. Down to the bottom of the racetrack. Harvick going to get by him for 18th. Field of cars kind of pulling away in front of Harvick. Just for a moment. Crowley kind of all by himself in 30th. Them breaking up just a little bit. Allowed that lead pack to pull away just a tad more. Harvick, Byron leading this second group, trying to get them to the front group. They're closing in. Can they keep the momentum up? 16 to go. Yeti Cup Series 6 for tuning in. I'm liking it more than NASCAR 21 Ignition was at face value, but it is just Daytona. I still have other tracks to race at. And there are a lot of similarities, but there's also quite a few differences, too, between the two games. It's a hybrid of a new game plus the old game. I mean, it's like the perfect hybrid of the two. The perfect meaning, like, the perfect definition of it, not so much like it's a perfect game. It is still far from that. We're still having scoring issues. That's the biggest problem I'm having still with this, is the scoring under cautions. It looks like Harvick's just going to have to hold on to 18th for right now, and maybe we get another caution before the end of this race. Who knows? We've had 11 cautions so far today. Only 2 in the final stage. We had 4 in stage 1 and 5 of them in stage 2. I don't know why Byron has roof damage. I flipped earlier. I don't remember anybody else flipping that. They could have. Guess you never know. Harvick just looking to block. Doesn't want to give up any more positions. Gained 3 spots on the restart that time. Trying to put himself in position if another caution comes out. But nobody really going with him. Harvick has to slide down a bit. Well, we can't choose it to rain at any random moment. Can't completely recreate that wreck. It did seem like the entire field pit during that last caution. If not the entire field, there were other cars on pit road. Credit to Harvick's crew for gaining him a handful of positions on pit road as well. 25th when the caution came out, gained 4 spots at pit road, gained 3 more in the restart. He's up to 18th. Caution worked out well for him. Again, will we stay green to the end of the race, though, is the next question, as we're coming up on 11 laps to go this time by. Again, also be sure to tune in tomorrow night on the channel. We'll be racing at Auto Club on NASCAR 22, the season update, the NASCAR 21 Ignition video game. 55 likes on the stream. We have 50 people watching. Thanks for everybody tuning in, but tuning in tonight and coming out. It's been a frenzy for sure, and going to try to win Kevin Harvick his second career Cup Series championship in this season. And here, as of the last couple that have not been so kind, the Harvick and Harvick fans, but you guys voted for me to race as Harvick on various polls in the chat, so we'll see how this is all going to pan out. Ten laps to go. Daytona 500. Will there be anybody to pit? Probably lean towards no with that last caution, but you never know. Will there be anyone to pit? Potentially give Harvick even more points. Who will be the winner and the first driver to lock themselves in the playoffs and, of course, win the Great American Race, the Daytona 500? Blowovers. I'm not turning myself in. If I do that, then I risk having even more damage and not even taking off on the and potentially going another lap down. So yeah, I'm not doing that. We fell a lap down to a scoring issue back at stage 1. It took me 2 stages to get my lap back. I was back on the lead lap to start the final stage because of a timely yellow late stage 2. I was able to stay out long enough and barely stay in front of the leaders when the caution came out, but then I ended up going a lap down to stage 3 anyway before the caution came out. Then we saw that most recent yellow. There's quite a few other cars that are still lapped down too. There are cars lapped that are inside the top 10, so it's not out of the realms of Harvick will get a top 10 finish if we saw some guys running out of fuel here at the end of the race that chose not to pit during that most recent caution that we had. It's not easy to wreck cars in this game. It's like NASCAR 21 Ignition in the sense that when you make contact with another car, you get just as loose as they do, if not more. So if I tried to turn Byron, I'm pretty sure if I intentionally tried to do that, I might spin myself too, even if it was middle of the straightaway. There are a lot of similar physics. The physics feel different, but at the same time, they still feel the same. There's some similarities, there's some differences. There's a little bit more give, but not a lot more give as we've seen tonight. I've been involved in, 3 or 4 wrecks? So it's been off of very little contact for the most part. Might help though. No, I don't turn people intentionally for cautions. find that here. I could save more fuel if I was riding in line in second, but I know with me pitting, I'm plenty good to the end, so I'm just trying to survive for position. It's going to be tough to get back by him if he gets around me with the damage to the sport car. Even though it does look like there's damage to the 24 also. Honestly, the way this race has gone tonight, 18th isn't that bad. Kind of right in the middle where we were finished at the end of the first two stages. We are down to just 6 laps to go. I don't know what to tell you then. Well, we're just going to have to sit and ride 18th. There's nothing really to say. Not here to junk cars. We're here to race for a championship. I didn't get a chance to win a championship in NASCAR 21 Ignition in its original state, so I'm going to go down swinging for the championship this season. I came close. I put up a fight in that final race about a week or so ago, but came up just short. Final lap effort in to get around Logano, and Truex ended up winning the championship. Watch the leaders wreck big. Unfortunately, caution would come out. I don't know that we'd gain any positions out of that unless we got a restart, which we should. Technically, there would be overtime. Harvick controlling the lanes whenever Byron seems to pull out of line, as he does on the back straightaway again. Briscoe and Harvick have been near one another for a large portion of today's race. When they have been near one another, they've been working fairly well together. Now 4 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Painful possibility. Yeah, you never know. Anything could happen. We've seen crazy stuff on the channel before. But flip somewhat realistic? Somewhat. Not really. I mean, like, I hit the inside wall before it rolled over. But it hit head on. It probably wouldn't have flipped it the way it did in real life if that happened. There is one car leaving pit road right now. So somebody just pit with about 3 laps to go in the race. Well, now we're at 3 laps to go. They're trying to get up to speed. That could be a spot. Actually, it's Justin Haley. It's 6th. Pulling up onto the racetrack.
1 left.
Bounces off the wall.
Clear all around.
Trying to get around him. All tires are on. That wasn't a position for Harvick, but we'll see if we get any more cars to pit here. He's the last car in the lead lap. There are more cars exiting pit road, so there could be positions up for grabs for the 4 of Harvick yet. Cody Ware, one of the cars leaving the pits. That will be a position, assuming Harvick can get around the 51.
Last flag.
And the white flag is now in the air, so 1 lap to go in the Daytona 500. If the caution comes out, the race will be over. They're going to pull up the racetrack right now. Huge pack of cars running directly behind him. He tries to cycle himself in line and try to keep up with as many positions as possible. Ross Chastain in 5th place that just exited pit road as well. There were any cars that pitted that last time by. Harvick will have a shot to get around, so he did get 1 extra spot late. I don't see anybody leaving pit road this time. Checker flag going to be in the air back behind Harvick. Very soon, at least. Haley not for position, but there are a lot of cars behind him that are, at least in Harvick's case. Haley has enough of a run to get by. I don't think anybody else for position is going to be able to get by off turn 4. So it looks like Kevin Harvick should be able to hold on to the 17th place position at the line.
Only a few laps till we pit.
Look at everybody just scraping the wall coming across the checker. The checker flag was in the air for a while, I guess further back as I kind of expected. And Bubba Wallace is going to win the Daytona 500. He ran good. He scored stage points at both stages. He was second at the end of the second stage. But Bubba Wallace is going to win the Daytona 500. He's been close to winning at Daytona before. Second in the 500 a couple times, and now he is a Daytona 500 champion. Austin Cindric going to end up finishing in second. Kyle Busch third. Austin Dillon fourth. Ross Chastain going to round out the top 5. Justin Haley in 6th. Denny Hamlin 7th was the last car in the lead lap. Joey Logano ended up 8th. Kurt Busch 9th. Eric Jones rounds out the top 10. So Wallace going to be in the playoffs. Kevin Harvick 17th. No stage points, fortunately, for us in this season opener. Again, you guys fans chose for me to pick Kevin Harvick to race as for this season. And yeah, a little bit of a fuel mileage finish there at Daytona. And obviously, how many cars? Pretty much the top 4 pitted during the caution, as well as pretty much most of the cars that were 1 lap down. A lot of lap cars in this Daytona 500. A lot of that was that long green flag run. And then caution came out in the middle of green flag pit stops, not once but twice today. So that trapped a lot of cars a lap down, including ourselves in the final stage. And 11 cautions total in today's race. Only 2 of them, though, in the final stage. And that last one came out with about 25 laps to go. So, congrats. Bubba Wallace has won. Your stage winners were Denny Hamlin, won stage 2, and then Kyle Larson won stage 1. So they'll each have a playoff point early in the year as well. Larson ended up 15th, so he didn't get as good of a finish. Started pole, finished 17th, kind of right in the middle. I'm not too upset with it. We made it to the finish. We only finished 1 lap down, despite the scoring errors throughout. We still got back on the lead lap, and then we ended up kind of losing our lap on our own as well anyway. So it is what it is. I'm not too upset with that. Definitely hit the like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. That's going to end tonight's stream. We'll be back at it again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NASCAR 22. And we will be racing the second race of the season at Auto Club. So our first intermediate look at what this game is going to play out like with the next-gen cars. And I'm sure we'll be slipping and sliding around that very rough racetrack tomorrow. Very wide. Expecting some good racing going on there. And if it's anything like Michigan was in NASCAR 21 Ignition, it might actually be a really good race because Michigan was one of the better races that had on NASCAR 21 Ignition. There's probably going to be a lot of draft that's going to go into effect in that race as well. So we'll see how that will all play out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your Thursday evening. Almost forgot what day it was.